All right, everybody. Hopefully you have had time to get some lunch and you're feeling refreshed and you got your thinking hat on. I know Veronica's ready. She ready. So I'm excited. Okay, so first of all, what an honor to be here with you guys. I've been so excited to come up here and meet with you guys and spend some time with y'all and hear your stories and get to know you and coach you if that is needed. Just really wanted to invest in this team because you have an incredible group here. And I'm just so impressed by what you guys have cultivated here. It is just awesome to watch. And today feels like such a privilege to get to be a part of it. So I also understand what it's like to be in your seat looking at somebody that you perceive as miles ahead of you or different than you or more successful than you or more fill in the blank than you, because I get very intimidated by people that I perceive to be further along than me. I feel imposter syndrome when I walk into a room of diamonds still. And I've been diamond for 3 years at this point. So diamond, if you're new here, that's the top rank of the company. I was not a fast starter. Definitely, like I said earlier, there was not any part of this business that came natural or easy for me. I will say I've overcome a lot of obstacles on my way to the top, and I am still overcoming obstacles. And I think that's why I am successful, because I have just purposed in my heart to not quit. It's all figureoutable. So my goal today is for you to leave here believing that you can do this. I want you to think, if she can do it, surely I can do it. That is what you should think by the time I'm done, if I've done my job well. So on the way here yesterday, while I was on my airplane, I was thinking, what can I say to a room of people who don't know me? Because see, if you're my friend for 5 minutes, you'll know that if I can do this, anybody can do this. But if you don't know me, I also understand, like you probably perceive me as confident or bold or just a natural or whatever. And I just want you to know that this journey wasn't easy, but it was 100% worth it. And that if I can do this, anybody can. So I want to encourage you not to compare your chapter 1 or chapter 2 to my chapter 20. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to share with you my chapters 1 through 19. And it took me probably 5 hours to think real hard and deep about all the things. Like, how did I feel when I was in that room as a silver? How did I feel as a gold? And on and on. And so I dug deep and forgot a lot of these things, actually, and also have never shared them publicly. So I'm going to tell y'all all my secrets so that y'all are good. Like, says you go come up here and sit Indian style. That would actually be cool with me, because that's all like no more normal. Okay. So I'm telling y'all, this is only the second time I've worn a blazer. Like normally I'm in yoga pants or workout clothes and just a sweaty mess, and I don't normally look professional. So this is also new, but I also realize it can be intimidating. And I remember the first time I met my diamond upline in person, we were at convention, and I was an emerald at that point. I was a jewel. But I was making coffee, and she came up and started talking to me, and I spilled my coffee everywhere. I was so nervous. I mean, I get it. And maybe some of y'all are just overflowing with confidence already, and so you probably don't feel intimidated. If that's you, more power to you. That's not me, okay? So, but if that is you, I think that's fantastic. You have a leg up on people like me. All right, so what I want you to know, though, is that you can do this. That's really what I want you to know. What separates the people who will go to the top of this company from the people who won't, or from the people who quit, a couple of things. Number one, belief that it can be done. This business is 80% mindset. It's only 20% skill set, meaning the things that we do to make money here are very simple. It's such a simple business. It's not the skills that hold people back. It's not the skills. It's what's between your ears. It's what you're thinking, what you're believing, what you're telling yourself, what you're dwelling on, because your thinking is going to determine how you feel, which is going to determine what actions you take or don't, which is going to determine what results you get. It's 80% mindset. And so that's what I want to talk about. The second thing that separates the people who go to the top from the people who quit: prioritization of the activities that move the needle forward. So we're going to talk about mindset, what you need to think and believe, and we're going to talk about the things you actually do to make money in this business and climb up the ranks. So, you're looking at a diamond. You might perceive that I'm confident or something that you don't feel that you are. But what you need to understand is that diamonds are formed under a lot of heat and a lot of pressure. That's how diamonds are formed. So the journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. It will change you, and it will bless you and a whole lot of people around you. So how I felt when I started. Well, first of all, before I was even silver and I was learning about this opportunity, I was definitely interested in financial freedom, because I shared with you earlier what we were living like, and just things were tight. And I knew I wasn't born to do more than just pay bills and die. I knew that. And I also wondered, like, will it ever not feel just so strapped? Not that I needed money to make me happy, but I think God just gave me this desire to know about business. I've just always been interested in business and how businesses thrive and how businesses make money. It's just an interesting topic to me. So I was amazed by the people who were doing this, who were making so much money. And now I did not for 1 second think that that was going to be me. Not for 1 second did I believe that. However, my sponsor, Fallon, do y'all know Fallon? Everybody follow Fallon here? Okay, well, she's my direct upline. She 100% didn't doubt for a second that she would be earning that amount of income. So she showed me to Sonia Dudley's diamond paycheck, and it was like, no, y'all, it was a lot of money. It was like a teacher's salary, but except in 1 month. And so I saw it, like a hard copy of it, because back then we were getting paper checks. And I was like, wow, I don't know. She must be really special. Like, she must be like an incredible person. Like, all the people making that kind of money, they're like incredible in ways that I don't understand how they became that way, but I just know I'm not that. That felt otherly to me. It felt like I couldn't conceive of that. But Fallon was not that way. Fallon definitely believed she was going to be earning that income. Meanwhile, she would say things like, I hate people. Can't stand people. And I'm people. Do you hate me? And since we were in a people business, I'm just like, wonder how she thinks she gonna make that money. Wonder how. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so she was definitely confident though, and her belief was contagious. And for a while, it was, but like she believed in herself, and she also believed in me. Like, she was like, "You can totally do this. I'm doing this. You can totally do it," and that was contagious for a while. And I in the beginning, I worked really hard for about 7 months. I got about halfway to gold, which is now what we call senior silver. And then I started losing steam. I started losing belief, because I was going off borrowed belief. Wasn't really my belief. I just was going off her belief, and I was losing belief because she wasn't really being that successful. And I just didn't really foresee her being successful, to be honest with you. I just didn't. I knew we had no idea what we were doing. Our upline was in California, across the country, And she had another leg of her team over there who was just blowing it up. I mean, they went to diamond in like a year, something crazy. Meanwhile, me and Fallon are over here in Georgia alone, silver and gold. And we were very coachable. Like we would do anything that our diamond upline told us to do. So one time she said, y'all need to do events. So we did. So when I went silver, it was because she said, host an event in your home, do a sip and see in your home. So I did that and I went silver, and it was pretty quick and easy. I know I went silver within my first month, but then I didn't know how to get beyond that. Definitely had massive fear of what people would think of me. My dad's a pastor. So there was that. And I had I came into this with like a lot of emotional baggage. I did not come into this confident. I've been through some stuff. I was a teenage mother, number one. And again, my dad's a pastor. So I became a Christian as an adult, but I had a lot of shame that I was carrying from that. Like I at 16 years old, I became pregnant, brought so much shame and humiliation on my family. Later became a Christian, but at that point had 2 kids with this man. And we did get married, but he was unfaithful to me over and over and over. He did not love me. And so I understand the pain of rejection because I have been rejected. Like he didn't love me. He just, to him, I was worthless other than the fact that I was raising his kids. He did value that, but we did not have a good marriage. Eventually we got a divorce. I was a single mom of my 2 little boys, and then God sent Anthony, who's Mr. Wonderful. Thank you, God. But so after Anthony and I got married, though, a couple years later, that's when I started my Plexus business. So confident was the opposite of an adjective I would use to describe myself. It was more like very little self-worth, very little like belief in myself that I believed that I could be a good mother. I was determined, even as a teenage mother, even though I felt that shame, I was determined. My number one goal was, I don't want my kids to end up like me. And so as a 16-year-old girl having a child, I was reading parenting books because I just knew I wanted my better for my kids. And so I was just determined I was going to figure it out. I was humble enough to know I knew nothing, and I was determined to figure it out. I approached my business the same exact way. When I came into this, I knew nothing. And so I was just open to whatever the successful people in the company were telling me to do. So she said, do an event. I did an event. I went silver, but I just didn't know how to go beyond that. Because recruiting, which we'll talk about later, that's just 25% of the equation. There's 4 pillars, 4 things you must master and learn. And so I figured out how to do the first one. So one time, Lori, she was our diamond. She said, y'all go print some flyers, walk around your neighborhood and go door to door and hand out the flyers and invite people to an event. Go do an event at Panera Bread or wherever you can find a back room. Just go hand out flyers door to door. So me and Fallon, I remember exactly what outfit she was wearing. Her shoes were from like Bobo tennis shoes from Kmart. And we walked around her neighborhood in the rain, knocking on doors, handing out flyers, and we did our event and nobody showed up. Just me and Fallon. So we're like looking at each other like, oh, what do we do now? I guess we'll go home. Bye. And then, but you know what? We did that 2 more times. We did 2 more events just like that no one came to because we were coachable and we knew we didn't know what we were doing. And so whatever the successful people were saying, do this, we were willing to do that, even if it was uncomfortable, even if it was scary, because we were hungry for change and we saw the vision of what could be. All we needed was somebody, just a little bit of mentoring and coaching for somebody to just show us the way. We were willing. And I would say that is one of the reasons why I am up here, is because I was willing. I was extremely fearful. I had faced a lot of rejection in my life. I've been through some hard things, but I was willing because I was hungry for change. Okay. So I remember as a silver listening to trainings about network marketing from people like Sarah Robbins. Sarah Robbins, she's probably the wealthiest female network marketer in the world. and she's with a different company, but she would produce these trainings, Rockstar Recruiting School and a couple others. And I remember listening to her trainings and being like, wow, this is like a legit business. It's like actual skills. Okay, maybe I can do this. And I was scared to death, but she said, call people on the phone and talk to them about the business opportunity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to say about the business opportunity. Back then, we just didn't have trainings in Plexus. We had a couple YouTube videos that a few diamonds had put on YouTube about, you know, how to talk to someone when you're at the Kroger pharmacy, or like, here's some book recommendations for how to grow your business. But there wasn't like, here's a getting started video, everything you need to know to make money right. There was none of that. There was no training like this. And so it was a lot of just trial and error. And I also think that that is what has helped me become a strong leader. It's just a whole lot of failing forward and sometimes falling flat on my face and just getting right back up and doing it again and learning the hard way. So what you guys perceive as like, you think I'm smart or you think I have wisdom, and I do, but that came at a price. It came from making a lot of mistakes and learning from them. Yes, I do have some wisdom. I could probably write the whole network marketing book on what not to do. And so, I had to stay humble through the process because there was no room for pride. I did a lot of embarrassing things. So anyways, Sarah Robbins says, call people on the phone, tell them about your business opportunity. So I'm shaking and I'm like, who am I going to call? I'm thinking maybe my ex-mother-in-law. I had a great relationship with my ex-husband's mom. And so I thought maybe I'll start with her. So I called her and like my voice is shaking. I'm like, Sally. So I started this thing and I thought it was because blah, 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 and all this was money. And like, I'm sure I puked Plexus all over her for probably 10 minutes. And then I finally took a breath and she's like, Brittney, you had me at hello. Where do I sign up? I'm like, yes. So she signed up and she's all excited and she's going to grow the business. I had my first business. I'm just stoked. And I'm like, how? Okay, what do I do? I literally had no idea what I was doing. I had no leadership skills whatsoever. All I had was some belief, okay, and willingness to be uncomfortable. So she catches the vision. She's going all in. She's doing things. Well, she lived in Alpharetta, Georgia, and she decided that she was going to go to a Sonia Dudley event in Nashville, which was probably a 7 or 8 hour drive away. And she had just got a new car and it was really nice new car. But on the way there, she had to drive through Amish country. It was dark and she ran into the back of an Amish horse-drawn trailer at about 70 miles per hour. Like she never saw it. She didn't see it, just ran slam into it and totaled her car, sustained life-altering injuries, was hospitalized, and she's fine now, but she won't like her injuries caused her, like it's affected her life. She still has like pain that she deals with, stuff like that. So anyways, needless to say, she's no longer a business builder on my team. She totally blamed Plexus. And she was like, well, that's obviously not for me. I'm taking this as a sign from God, not from me. So I lost my business builder. All right. This was as a silver. All right. I had another business builder. She started as a customer, loved the products. And we had talked about the business and she was interested. She did a couple of events, like some vendor events at some county fair or something. She did a couple of events and stuff. But she didn't really like make much money. She wasn't like super successful or anything. But she could have been. She definitely had potential. So, but eventually she just kind of fizzled. Meanwhile, I'm on my products and all I could take was Plexus Slim. All I could take was the pink drink because I was nursing a baby and I really, really wanted to lose weight. It was my 4th child. The weight was not coming off as fast as it normally did before. And so that's why I started on the products, because I wanted to lose weight. I knew nothing about gut health. It was not even a thing. Triplex was not a thing. It was not invented. We had the products, but the triplex, the combo, it wasn't a thing. At that point, when I started, people were taking Plexus just to lose weight. We had Slim and we had an accelerator. I could not take the accelerator, but people who were taking Slim and accelerator were dropping weight like crazy. And I was just taking Slim only, and which is a health supplement, and people do lose weight on it, but it's like over a period of, you know, months and months. And I just was like, my progress was slow. And so I was like, you know, how about you take this stuff, and because I can't, and let's just see, let's just test it. Let's see if it works. Drops 30 pounds. I was so mad. I'm like, that's not so mad. And anyway, so he loses all this weight. A lot of people losing weight on this stuff. And suddenly Plexus takes the product off the market. And no longer was there an accelerator. And so because there was an ingredient in it that was not synthetic, it was kind of like there was a product on the market. I think it was called, what? Somebody said it? No.
Another company like this, so diet.
Okay, so this accelerator had like the oil from the geranium plant in it. It was just the oil, very natural, like oregano oil. Like you take oil from a plant, you know, put it in the product. Well, there was another company on the market that was like a synthetic version of that plant. It'd be kind of like the difference between a baked potato and a French fry. And one was very natural and had a lot of benefits. The other one was actually causing people heart attacks. And Plexus did not want to be associated with that at all. And so they just completely took it off the market. So we no longer had an accelerator. And then people were coming and saying, oh, I'm just not losing weight like I was before. Or like they were just coming saying, this isn't working. This isn't helping me lose weight. And I was so discouraged by that. My belief in the products were already shaky because I was also taking it to lose weight because that's what was marketed to me. And that was my expectation. And it was just very slow progress. And I didn't know anything about the health benefits or that it's actually a health supplement. I didn't know any of those things. And so when my customers were coming to me saying this, it hurt my belief. It made me think, well, I maybe I can't get like maybe my integrity is on the line here. Maybe I don't believe in what I'm telling people anymore, you know? So my belief was shaky there. And this is after my mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law totaled her car and quit Plexus. And then my other business builder, she's just kind of fizzling. And then my customers are coming saying, well, the products aren't working for me, losing weight. And then my upline is saying, I hate people. And so I'm just not that tough, y'all. I'm just not that tough. I'm not that strong. And I flat out quit. And I felt like the biggest weight off of my shoulder when I finally said those words. Like, I felt I can't do this anymore. Like, I just don't really see it going anywhere. I've been doing this for 7 months. All I've gotten is halfway to gold. I just really don't believe that it's going to go further than it is. And if my customers are saying this, I know everybody, I can't be the only one. Everybody else's customers must be saying this stuff too. Fallon would go in the team pages of our diamond uplines. She got kicked out of all of them. She was so negative. Her attitude was so bad. She'd go and comment in there. They'd delete everything. Eventually, they just removed her altogether. And Pink Power Team was born. That's why. Now you know, okay? So that's why I'm like, I don't really think you're going anywhere or me, because we don't know what we're doing, obviously, and ain't nobody here to help us. Like, I mean, I don't see any hope here or reason to keep wasting my time. So I lost belief. And at first, I felt like I made the right decision, but I kept taking my products because the probiotic 5 actually, well, I love Slim. Slim actually does help me with my sugar cravings. And so it did help me lose weight, but it was over a period of months. And it came as a result of me just not eating so much sugar, because it does help me with my cravings. And also I feel full faster. So it did help me, but it took months. And then probiotic 5, I was just taking that because some of the people in our team were saying, oh, this is really helpful for blah, blah, blah. And so I added that, and 3 months in, realized like my digestive issues were clearing up that I had always had since I was a little girl. So I was unwilling to stop taking my products. Even if I wasn't going to share about it, I was still taking my products. So for a whole year, I kept taking my products and I watched. some people. A lot of Plexus people, I unfriended them. Because I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Some of them I'm just like, you know what? You're going to be a diamond, more power to you. But I'm going to sit here, be jelly. And so just unfriend, block, unfriend. So half of the people that I had made friends with, I just unfriended them. And then eventually they did friend me back. So I'm grateful for that. But I watched for a year, fully expecting everyone else to fail too. Because Plexus was new at the time. It was new, it was just like just getting started. And I fully expected everyone to fail the way I had failed and the way I felt like a failure. And imagine my shock when they didn't. They all started climbing through the ranks, including Fallon. And so that blew my socks off. And of course I was paying attention. Like I didn't want to quit. I just also didn't want to waste my time. And I didn't have belief that it was going to turn into anything. I just didn't have any hope or belief for the future of the success of whatever I was trying to build. So when all of my sidelines kept going and they kept climbing through the ranks and earning Hawaii trips and the Plexus Lexus cars, and then Fallon, when I quit, she was a gold when I quit. And I was most of her team. So that means she lost most of her team. But she didn't quit. During that year, she dug in to personal development. Her upline, Lori, was saying, Fallon, you know what? I don't know how else to help you. And you need to you got to grow. You got to read these personal development books. And Fallon would call me being like, I just want to bop her over the head with these personal development books. But when I quit, though, it got her attention. And because she wasn't willing to quit, she really, truly believed she was going to be a diamond. And she couldn't figure out why she wasn't already. And she was mad about it. That's why she kept going in team pages and saying nasty things. And couldn't figure out like what the hold up was. She should be diamond by now. It's only like 6 months in. So anyway, when I kept in touch with Fallon that whole year where I wasn't sharing Plexus anymore, even though I was taking the products, I also was getting a residual paycheck that was coming in the mail every month. I was taking my products and I wasn't telling anybody else, but my customers who did love the products, they kept taking their products too. And so I was getting a residual paycheck for an entire year, even though I wasn't no longer working it. So, and then also Fallon, I could see the difference in her attitude. There was so many changes. It was like night and day. And I was like, I am paying attention. This is interesting. And I watched, and then she hit senior gold. And then eventually I did jump back in. She started climbing through the ranks, and all of that was very inspiring. Talk about thought of, if she can do it, I can do it. That is what I thought. It inspired the heck out of me. So if you are a leader in this room and you want to know, how do I inspire my team? Be successful without them. That will inspire them. Be success. Don't let your team think that your success is up to them, because it ain't. It's up to you. And when your team sees you being successful with or without them, then that does speak to them. Hey, I can do this too. So definitely wanted to make money, was definitely curious. And that previous business builder, the one that I said she did a couple of events, but then she kind of fizzled. I had stopped checking in with her about her products. I had like a lot of fear. Like I did not want to hear from another person, this isn't working for me. So I just had like these blocks of like, I just was scared to even follow up with my customers and see how they were doing. And anyways, that business builder who had fizzled suddenly decided she was doing the thing. And she started posting, and she started growing her business, and she's in my downline. And so I'm watching all of this take place, and my husband's going, I'm telling my husband, like, I do want to do something, because I mean, I was trying all these different business endeavors, not really making money with any of them. And he was like, well, I don't really understand why you just don't do Plexus. We love the products. You're still taking them. I like the culture and what it stands for. I think Plexus would be a good option. And so I started listening to team calls again. The first one I listened to was from Amber Miller, who is a diamond, but she's my age. It's actually, so it's Fallon is my sponsor, then Lori Welch, who's a diamond, then her daughter is her sponsor. Amber Miller, and she's a diamond. At the time, this team call, Amber had just gone emerald. Even though her mom, her level 1, Lori, was a diamond. She was only an emerald because you have to have so many points outside of your primary runner to climb through the ranks. Like you can't just piggyback off somebody all the way to the top, which is a good thing. You can't just like recruit a rock star and kick your feet up and go to the top. That's not fair. So anyways, Amber, her mother was a diamond, but she had just hit emerald and she did this call and she talked about how the reason why it took her so long to get to emerald, even though she had a level 1 diamond and honestly thousands of points in her organization, she wasn't diamond yet because of her belief in the products. She shared how in the beginning, when she went silver, her first 3 customers told her the products did not work. And she believed them for like a year, even though her mom was taking the products, having amazing results. And so was everybody on her mom's team. I mean, exploding over there with jewels. I mean, Amber had countless jewels on her team, paralyzed because she didn't have belief in the products, because she believed those people who were saying, yes, it's not working for me. Until one day she was at her dad's house. Her dad was one of her customers. And she opened the cabinet to get something, and out falls unopened bags of Plexus products. Products. All this time, and she just like let this belief still rob her of tens of thousands of dollars. He had never taken the products. And so she was like, what the heck? Then the next customer, the second customer, she said that the girl said it didn't work until, and she like took it for a month, said it didn't work, just stopped taking it until she saw Amber's mom and all of her results and what Lori was building over there and the explosion in her business that inspired her to try again. She lost 30 pounds. The second time she did it, she was consistent. She drank her water and she just kept at it long term. And also she addressed her gut and she lost 30 pounds. And so then she became a working ambassador. This same person that Amber let hold her back. And then the third person was actually Amber's mom, who helped her go silver, but also eventually went on to diamond. But Amber, instead of focusing on the people who were loving it and just getting information, she let the opinions of those 2 people who were either A, not consistent, or B, not even taking the product, rob her of her future, of what could be a blessing for her family. And meanwhile, she's over there growing chickens so that she can collect eggs, poopy chicken eggs. So she can go get a pedicure and her mom is making bank. So she shared how she finally got over this fear and started like learning about the products. She knew she was in the products. She lives in California and had severe seasonal allergies, but married a man from Nashville. So she comes to the Southeast and she couldn't even go outside and play with her kids. She had to watch them play through the kitchen window because her allergies were so severe. And her doctor told her, you're my second worst allergy patient I've ever had. And you're never going to be able to just like fully function outside as long as you live in this area. I recommend you go somewhere where there's just not a lot of pollen. Well, anyways, when she started taking the products, she was able to fully function. Like it helped her allergies. That was invaluable to her. But she knew what the products had done for her. She saw what it was doing for her mom and her stepdad and a whole lot of other people. But she let the opinion of those 2 people rob her family and make her continue collecting poopy chicken eggs so she could get a pedicure. Okay. So that call inspired me as a silver who had quit and lost belief. That inspired me. And I thought, that's relatable. I also did the same thing. I let people rob me. Like I believe people's opinions about the products instead of focusing on truth and evidence and science. I let these opinions hold me back. And so that got my wheels turning. The next call I listened to was one by Charlotte Seams. She has 12 kids and she's in her 60s, but she's a diamond. She had just hit diamond. And she talked about how mindset was going to be the make or break for people who are successful or people who are not. And she talked about Switch on Your Brain, which is a book. And I went and read the book. and realize, like, it's basically a book, it's by Dr. Caroline Lee, but she takes scripture and she shows how science, thousands of years later, is now catching up with what scripture has said all along about what you think and what you believe. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whatever's true and noble and lovely and excellent and praiseworthy, think on these things. Apparently, God has a lot to say about what we think and believe. And it's all right there in the scripture, but that book just brought, like, verses I've read many times, just shed a new light on that for me. And I realized when I read that, I'm the only one holding me back. All of this mind trash that they're describing, that's me. It sounds like me. And a lot of it came from things I had been through. Like, I had been through some hard things that shaped and formed my thoughts and my beliefs that I had about myself. But I realized that I could change that. Our thoughts are a choice. Our thoughts are a choice. You don't have to believe every single thought your brain feeds you. But most people don't think about what they're thinking about. And you will never outperform the quality of your thinking. So it is imperative that you think about what you are thinking about. When you sit down to work your business, what's coming up for you? When you sit down to follow up with your customers, what's coming up for you? What do you find yourself thinking and believing? That's going to determine what actions you take. So that's what that book helped me realize. When I realized my thoughts were a choice and that I could change them and start to begin to think like a successful person, that was so freaking to me and so inspiring to me. And that brought me hope once again. And I thought, maybe I can do this. Maybe I actually can. And then the third call I listened to as a struggling silver was one by Eva Schmidt. She's a diamond in Canada. And she did this one after she hit diamond. And they asked her, how do you market these products? She said she was sharing her struggle about, like, marketing something that's kind of branded for weight loss, but she's a big girl. I mean, she is not small by any means. She's a big girl. She's beautiful, but she's a big girl. And she was a diamond. Even though our product's called Plexus Slim, she was not slim, and she's a diamond. And she said, I will never forget this one line, y'all. She said, focus on long-term health. And I was like, what? I've been doing it wrong. I'm over here trying to sell weight loss. The reason they're being successful over there, the reason nobody else quit when I did, is because they weren't selling weight loss. They were selling long-term health. They knew about gut health. Eventually, that whole team over there, they took the idea for the triplex to corporate, and they said, we need these 3 products in a combo: Slim, Probiotic 5, BioCleanse. And bam, the triplex was born. We all started learning about gut health. And when I was blown away by that research, I was like, well, no wonder this has helped my husband with his allergies. No wonder it's helping my tummy troubles. And it made so much sense to me. And all of a sudden, my belief in the products was full throttle. At that point, it's just like it all clicked for me. My belief was there. I knew that it wouldn't be easy, but that I could do it. I did start to believe I actually can do it. Me, Brittney Howard, person who's been through so many things and done so many things, I could actually be successful. And it was a choice. And then I believed in our products once again, and what the value that I was going to be offering to people. And the first people I wanted on these products, once I learned about gut health, was obviously people I love the most. And so all of these things came together. Y'all, I went from, when I jumped back in, I went from silver to emerald in 1 year. Whereas before, I had worked really hard for 7 months, and I just got halfway to gold, and then I quit. This time, silver to emerald in 1 year. And emerald is 1,500 points. That's a 6-figure income. That's where you get your Plexus Lexus, is where you go to on these luxurious trips to Hawaii. The only thing that changed was my mind. That was it. The products were the same. My upline, same upline. Comp plan, same comp plan. Like, literally everything the same. Only thing that changed was what was between my ears. It was what I was thinking and believing. All right, so, however, like, I would like to say, I went to emerald, and then we lived happily ever after. But that's not actually what happened, because I thought what was going to happen is, oh, I got to emerald. Now all I got to do is help my team go emerald, and then I'll be a diamond. But that's not how it works, apparently. So here's what actually happened. When I hit Emerald, I was Emerald for 2 years, 2 very long years. I was an Emerald. That leg of my team that I said, remember I said that she was working, then she fizzled, then she decided she was doing the thing, and she jumped back in even before I did, which inspired me to then jump in. She wouldn't let me lead her. She wanted nothing to do with my leadership. She felt like she knew more than I did. And at that point, she probably did when I first started. She did not want anything to do with my leadership. She wouldn't even talk to me. She didn't want me talking to her team. She didn't want me to say, hi, I'm Brittney. Nothing. She would get very upset if I were to ever message her team and just introduce myself. She wanted nothing to do with my leadership. So that was painful. It was hurtful. Like I'm over here wondering, like, what did I do wrong? And really, I felt very insecure about it, but I was an Emerald. I felt rejected, which was not a new feeling. I felt insecure. I felt left out. It was hurtful. It was painful. Whenever I started posting again, after that time I had quit, I jumped back in, I started posting again. 3 of my old customers turned their subscription back on, started taking their products again, and I went gold. But guys, I was silver for almost 2 years. So I stand up here today as a diamond, a 5-star diamond, which means I have helped 5 different legs of my team get to a 6-figure level. I have created massive success at this point, earned what a brain surgeon makes, and I have helped other people have massive success too. But I was that first rank for almost 2 years because of what I was thinking and believing, okay? But then once I did hit Emerald, like I said, it was on the journey to Emerald, I felt rejected, insecure, and left out by one leg of my team. But once I hit gold, my diamond upline, Lori, she made a chat that showed me what working my business actually looked like. And just, it was like an accountability chat. And so every single day I did not go to bed until I had reached out to 2 new people that day and posted that day and followed up with 1 person that day. So consistently for an entire year, that was what I did. 2 new contacts, 1 post, 1 follow-up. Okay. Didn't go to bed. If I went to bed and realized that I was 1 short, I literally would get out of bed and go do the income producing activity that I had committed to. And I'd check in the chat and say, did my work for, here's what I did for the day. If you didn't do the minimum amount of work, you would just be removed from the chat. No questions asked, no explanations, didn't need excuses. It's just this, the purpose is accountability. And so that was incredibly helpful to me because I had no idea at that point. I was a gold at that point because my downline was working and I had a few customers, but I didn't know what income producing activity was. I had no idea. That was not a vocabulary word back then. And also didn't realize the importance of consistently reaching out to people about Plexus, but I was willing. Lori said, do it. I was willing to do it. And that chat right there got me consistent with the things that actually grow my business. And that was what started the momentum. A few months later, I met a girl on Facebook. She joined my team. I did not know her from Adam. She actually lived in Indiana. She joined my team. She hit Fast Start Gold, which at that time was really hard to hit. A lot of people hit it now because they made it way more doable. Back then, to hit Fast Start Gold, you had to recruit 20 people in your first 30 days. So she did that, and I helped her. Now, at that point, I did not feel like a leader. But the only business builder I had wouldn't even talk to me or let me interact with her team. But this new business builder, she was letting me help her. So I didn't feel like a leader until I helped that girl. Like all these prospects she had, she was bringing them to me and letting me talk to them. And I realized at that point, I'm really good at casting vision. I'm really good at selling. Like I had no idea up until that point. In my mind, I sucked because I had quit and I just wasn't successful. But through this experience of helping this girl that I did not know, it built my belief and my confidence that I actually could be a leader. Once that girl hit Fast Start Gold and I knew I had helped her, that was the first time I felt like a leader. And at that point, I was a senior gold. Okay, so I continued being consistent, was blown away by my paycheck. I'd never had a career before. So when I got my first paycheck, it was like $700. I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I kept going, kept being consistent.
was Ruby by the end of that year, made over $4,000 right in time for Christmas. Talk about life-changing and belief in the opportunity through the roof. I was like, everybody needs to know this. Because in my mind, I'm like, if I can make that much money, I know me, and I know anybody can do that. Like anybody. They just let it, like they don't do back. Y'all can make money. Like look in these products, like all these testimonies, like it's helping people, like everyone. And so it was just momentum. That momentum begets momentum. What happens is you get a business, you start making money, you get a paycheck, you get excited, and you become contagious. And when you're contagious, you attract more business builders and you get more excited, and everybody's making money and everybody's winning and everybody's happy. That's momentum. Momentum begets momentum, but it all starts in your mind with what you're thinking and believing. All right, so after I hit Ruby, that's when Christina joined. Anybody know Christina? Anybody? Oh, Christina, if you're watching this, you hear that? Everybody said, "Oh, that's so sweet." Okay, so Christina joined me. Y'all, I followed up with Christina about this business for a year, y'all. And that was after she had come off 3 blood pressure medications. And I didn't even know that she did that because I was too scared to ask her. She liked the product. But apparently the stuff works and you do need to ask people, but she loved the products. And even after she loved the products, she just would ignore half of my messages, but I saw her potential and I just kept communicating it to her. I persisted. I wasn't pushy, but I was persistent. And eventually she decided she was going to do this with me. And then after Christina joined, so did another business builder and another business builder and another business builder, and another business builder. And then that is eventually I did go Emerald. Okay. So when I hit Emerald, it felt like the biggest accomplishment of my entire life. It really did. At the time I had 5 kids, and I just always been a stay-at-home mom, and I just didn't ever envision myself having a career. It felt massive to me. I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of what I had been able to accomplish. I went to Hawaii. I took my kids. I got my Lexus. I'm out in the middle of the country with 5 kids in a Lexus. And I'm like, who is this? I'm grateful. Like I went to my first convention as a jewel, and I knew I had earned it. Like I knew it wasn't an accident. I knew I had to grow. I knew I had to get gritty. I knew I had to get out of my comfort zone. I knew I had to push past fear. I knew I had to overcome doubts. I knew I had to do my belief, and I knew I had to pour into other people. And I felt so proud of that accomplishment. I knew I had earned that, and I was proud. So, and also I was having so much fun. Like I don't think I'd ever had so much fun as an adult. I'm not even kidding. I had always been a mom. I'd always been a mom, and I always saw myself as a mom. I mean, I became a mom as a teenager. And so my life was always revolving around my kids, and it was them first. And it never occurred to me to like have friends and do fun things with adult people. I didn't do that. And so my life was just like changed. I made the best friends, and these people that I was working with, just high quality people. I mean, it was just having the best time. So, however, as an Emerald, one of my goals became really jealous of Christina's success, and she started gossiping. And I was like, you know what? It's not really the culture I want on my team. If she's a gossiper, I'm not even gonna try to like retain her. Like I'm just gonna let her go, because that's not what I'm not. There's no price tag. There's no money somebody can pay me that's gonna make me want to have to deal with everybody's drama all the time. Not worth it to me. I don't care how much money I would make. It ain't worth my peace. I literally cannot stand drama. I want mature people who can love each other, and you feel feelings of jealousy, like be able to work through that with a Christ-centered attitude. Like that is what I want to work with, and that's the people I want to build with, right? So I just didn't even really try to keep her on board. So lost gold leg of my team. One of my senior goals that we were really close to, she just quit without explanation. And it was really hard. I blame myself for that one a lot. Because I just couldn't figure out, like, what did I say or do wrong? Probably why I stayed up all night, wondering if I heard. Had dinner with Becky and Kaylee last night. Every 15 minutes, I woke up thinking, did I hurt Becca's feelings? What if I wake up every 15 minutes and have a new thought? Like, what about when I said that? I wonder if that hurt her feelings. I have mental problems, but it's like post-traumatic stress disorder because I figured out why to see your goal. And we were close. Like, she was actually a family member. She was married to my cousin. And so it wasn't like she could just quit and I never see her again. Like, you know, and so I really was stumped on that one. And it was hurtful, it was painful because it felt personal. And I just blamed myself. And also it was like, how do I even learn from it? Because I don't know what I did wrong. Eventually I realized the problem was not me. I did eventually realize that now that we're years later and I see the fruit of her behavior and then the fruit of what's happened in my business and in my life, I do realize looking back in retrospect, I realize it was not me. Okay. So stuff like that is going to happen sometimes. All right. My first business builder still would not talk to me. I thought for sure, like in the beginning, it made sense to me why she wouldn't respect my leadership because she probably did know more than me. She jumped in and went all in before I did. So that made sense. But I just thought, okay, well, maybe when I hit senior gold, maybe that'll inspire her. Maybe she'll let me in. Maybe when I hit Ruby, maybe when I hit senior Ruby and she's still a gold, maybe then she'll realize that I actually do have some value I could add. She never would. She never would. She eventually quit. And if she had not quit, she would be an emerald right now because she has an emerald on her team who you all probably know and love very much. Taprooted there. Okay. So she still wouldn't talk to me. She did eventually quit. Also, in this time, my dad got really sick. He had a stroke and also he had sepsis a couple times. Like, it was a really rough time in his life and he wasn't quite himself. One time he came to my house and we got in the biggest argument about network marketing. Now this was, mind you, my dad is not just my dad, he was also my pastor. So his words and his influence carried double weight in my life. And when he came to my house, at this point, I'm earning 6 figures now. He waits till I'm earning 6 figures to tell me all this stuff. And my family's dependent on this income. We've adjusted our lifestyle at this point. And he comes to my house and just like verbally just like attacks network marketing. He was yelling. I remember the look on his face. Like it was so, I actually had to go to counseling to work through that. And so also during this time after I hit Emerald, had some marriage issues because who knew that husbands might feel threatened when their wife starts earning more money than them. Sometimes it happens. And that is what my husband's worked through that at this point, and he would be here to tell you how proud he is of me. But I think it didn't probably make him feel a little bit ashamed. Whenever I started earning more money, when I passed his income, we went from I'm a stay-at-home mom and he's the only breadwinner to now not only he's not the only breadwinner, but at that point we didn't even need his money. And that made him feel like he just had to work through some things over that. And so we had marriage issues. And so I was Emerald for 2 years. And also I was in management mode because again, I thought, well, if I can just help my team get to where I'm at, then I'll be a diamond and they'll all be 6-figure earners and we can just all go to the top together. But apparently that's not how it works, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. Also comparison seeped in because and my sidelines, the people that I started with, direct sidelines, like we all kind of climbed through the ranks together. It's staggered sometimes, but they all surpassed me in rank. One year at convention, they put the diamonds and the sapphires in one room and put the emeralds in the other. And the month before we went to convention, all my emerald friends hit sapphire. And I was the only emerald. I went in the emerald room by myself. And I felt like I went from feeling like this is the biggest accomplishment ever to, oh, this is no longer good enough. This is like I was just totally comparing my success to theirs or whatever. Eventually, I learned the skill of cold market recruiting, got myself out of management mode, learned how to recruit people that I did not know, turn strangers into friends and friends into family, build a business with a whole lot of people that I did not know, learned that skill, taught my whole team the same skill, developed new business builders. Kayleen's sponsor, Lisa McFall, was one of them. Just completely cold market. Michelle Stuchel was another one, new business builder that came on during that time. And I did go Sapphire. Then I was Sapphire for 2 years. Sat there feeling inadequate because I couldn't develop jewels. Went to Hawaii 3 times by myself. I'm not by myself, my husband was there. But I saw my sidelines bringing people from their team with them. And I beat myself up and I thought, why can't I develop jewels? What am I doing wrong? Felt inadequate, felt insecure. Went and created new business builders. Went to Diamond. Felt surreal. When I hit Diamond, it literally felt surreal. I was just like, how could this happen when I'm still me? Because I just thought the people at the top were otherly, and I knew I wasn't that. I didn't know what made them otherly. I just knew it wasn't otherly. And so I just was like, I'm a diamond, but I'm still me. And I don't know how that happened. 7 years, guys. 7 years. It took me from the time I hit join to the time I hit diamond, 7 years. And I thought that I would be different. I thought I'd be different when I was a diamond. Thought I'd feel different. I just thought I'd be different. But then I realized that I was different. I was very different, but I was also still the same. I was still the same me, still the same values. I was just the me who had a lot more money. So my diamond dog, like my kids did not even know life before Plexus. He asked them, what was your life like before Plexus versus now? And they're like, they didn't, there was no recollection there. With my littles, my oldest 2 kids, they were probably, I don't know, probably 9-ish or so when I started, and they watched me work toward diamond all these years, and we would even dream about things we were going to do when I was a diamond. I hit it right after Noah moved out. Right after he moved out, he was so mad. He's like, you went to. And so anyway, I was just like, well, I mean, that was your choice. You couldn't stay. You know, I told you to move out. I mean, you be grown, so go out. All right. So anyway, I felt so intimidated by the diamonds. When I walk in a room full of diamonds, I feel like I don't belong here because they're them. They're real diamondy, and I'm not. But I have a blazer now, so I look diamondy now. I look like a diamond in this blazer. Outfits matter. I'm just saying. Okay, so anyway, had major imposter syndrome as a diamond. The insecurities don't go away, y'all. They just shift. You always gonna have them. I taught the most successful diamonds I know have insecurities, and I'm like, I am so glad that I'm not the only one. One day, I was in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, and my phone rang. It was Alec Clark, president of the company, and he wanted me to be on the advisory board. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't really know what that means. Basically, they want my opinion before they make major decisions. And again, I'm thinking, they just let anybody, like they don't do background check. I'm kidding, y'all. There's nothing on my background check. Or is there? But anyways, on the advisory board, they just pick like 6 or 7 top diamonds that they just want to advocate for the field. Like before they make any major changes or do anything, they ask our opinion so that we can give them feedback of like, yes, this will work. No, it will not. We need to change this, blah, blah, blah. It took me a year to be on that advisory board to get to a place where I wasn't feeling like I don't belong here. Like, what am I doing sitting here? Like, I just had this deep-seated feeling that I don't know why they asked me to do this, but I just felt like I didn't belong there, okay? And now I'm at the point where we get off an advisory board meeting and some of the board members coming in the chat saying, y'all, my husband just walked in after that meeting, told me he was praying because apparently y'all were yelling and he's just praying, Lord, please let all these people get along. So apparently I yell now. And I got husbands praying for me after advisory board meetings because now I know, now I'm like, y'all, my opinion up in here. Y'all go hear from me. I belong, okay? So anyway, I was intimidated. Saw him as otherly. thought they were better than me. I grew up in a trailer park. I was a teenage mom. I'd been divorced. I didn't get there quickly. A lot of these diamonds got there quickly, made it look so easy, flew through the ranks. I just felt like I wasn't like them. And you know what? I wasn't like them, but not in the way that I thought. It's not that I wasn't good enough. It's just that I guess I learned how different I had become on my journey to diamond. I developed grit because my journey was not fast or easy. I developed grit. I developed mental strength. I was not scared by adversity. When adversity pops up, challenges pop up, I see some people just like they let it shut them down. I'm not afraid of that anymore. I just embrace those and I know that it's all figureoutable. I developed wisdom. Like I said, wisdom comes from evaluated mistakes, evaluated experiences. So here's what I do know about diamonds. Diamonds have insecurities and weaknesses just like you do. They just decided to do it anyway. And they worked and they built the thing, however flawed it may have looked, whatever they have built or whatever they are still building, they did it. The number one factor in your success, the belief that it can be done. And here's what you need to believe. It's all figureoutable. It's all figureoutable. And if I can do it, you can do it. What you're looking at is a chapter 20. What I just shared with you was 1 through 19. I don't know what your 1 through 19 is going to look like, but I know that the 20 is waiting for you. I know there's a chapter 20. I know you can do it because if I can, you can. And now you guys see why. Don't tell nobody my secrets. I know where y'all live now. I'm kidding. All right, we're going to take a break. 15 minutes, go potty, get something to drink, whatever, and come back and we'll do the second part.